Good evening, everybody out there in Chester County and on my Facebook page, coming to you straight live on City Town Talk as none other than me, Brother Fonz. I like to roll my lips when I say the B. Brother Fonz. I did that with Bridger Hope earlier today on my update. I told y'all I was going to have Bridger Hope on here this evening. They have an exciting story. They have a great organization and everything. But before I serve you up the main course, I'm gonna give y'all some appetizers before the main entree. Because I know good and well, if I try and give y'all these notices after she's finished, everybody's gonna leave. So look, we have an exciting weekend in the land of Coatesville, and I'm gonna run it down to you right now. Tomorrow afternoon from 12 to 6, we have pop-up shops that's going to be located at 3rd and Lincoln Highway. And I'm telling you, this pop-up shop event is a culmination of various entrepreneurs going through this program that Kutztown gave, man. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. So now here are some of the vendors that's going to be there. They're going to have tents up there. It's going to be up one way, down the other way. It's almost going to be like you're at a mall somewhere. So look, here's who we have. We got Fred Sharp from Stingy Brims. So all of you who like to wear those Kangos like Brother Fonz do, he'll be there. Coatesville's Juvenile Alliance with Laurie, Shannon Bailey, Quietville Reentry Services. That's with Teresa Graham. AP Crochet with Amisha Phillips. Y'all know them Phillips. They'll be there. Muff Stuff with Caprice Love, who is the creator. She created that. Uncommon Women. I can see what that program's about. That's going to be headed by Shanira Stewart. Okay, KTB Graphics, Kevin Davis, The Social Station with Shannon Thomas. All of y'all know that. And Reese Soaps. You know, she's one of the youngest entrepreneurs we got in Coatesville. She has created her own soap, heals rashes, skin, man, puts money in your bank, all that kind of stuff. She's going to be there. Reese Little, Built Fitness, the man, the myth, the legend, Clayton Kellum, ladies and gentlemen. He'd be there, the owner and creator of Built Fitness. Gourmet Jerk Shack. I've been called a jerk, but this is something different. A gourmet jerk shack. And the word on the street is they make the most outstanding chicken. Honey, do you like jerk chicken?
Yes.
Okay, I'm me and the wife are going to get some jerk chicken tomorrow. That's going to be with Marissa Johnson. And last but not least, Breaker Prayer Ministries with Michelle Adams. I know I'm going to stop by that table because I know I need some prayer. So bam, that's what's happening with the pop-up shop. Don't go nowhere because there's more. Also tomorrow, Bridge to Bridge Beautification Program. Oh, just disappeared. Bridge to Bridge Beautification Program. And it's going to be, they're going to be beautifying the landscape, flower pots, all that stuff on Lincoln Highway tomorrow. And it says from Bridge to Bridge. And it's in partnership with the city of Coatesville, Second Century Alliance. And it's really, really nice. This is going to be, let me see, is there a time on this? The cleanup starts at 8 o'clock, and I think you get free breakfast and everything. So get on down there and see what you can do to make our town, our city, a beautiful place. Okay, here's one I like. I would use it, but I don't have no hair on my head. Bookman's Barbershop has come and get a haircut. Come and get a haircut on us. Bookman's Barbershop. Now, Bookman's is located on the corner of 7th and Lincoln Highway, right next to the Midway Restaurant / bar. It's first come, first serve. They will also be giving out food vouchers for Willie's Family Restaurant, food vouchers for crispy, crunchy chicken. They will be giving giveaway raffles and much, much more. And that's going to be done by Join Voice and Vision Incorporated as we spread awareness on mental health, suicide prevention, and drug alcohol. Wait a minute, I forgot earlier. On the pop-up shops, down there, you will have Cass Rowland, the creator of Big Boy's barbecue sauce. There's a whole lot of B's again. He's going to be down there and he's cooking. Now, he not only makes barbecue sauce, for those of you who have been to my block party and our block parties and other events, we all know Cass Rowland's about that life as far as cooking is concerned. So he'll be down there doing what he's doing. I can see us just getting full. I can see me getting full, swelling up and everything, but it's okay. It's okay. And last but not least, now this event is dear to my heart. It's the Rock the Vote voters registration event that we are having next Saturday, which is also Bridge to Bridge, but it has extended even further than the bridge. We will be in Valley Township. We'll have tables, and we'll also have tables up at Regency Park Apartments. We want to register everybody in the city of Coatesville. Ain't nobody playing with y'all. So look, almost on every corner, there will be a registration table. It starts at 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So far, we have almost 100 volunteers. And we have almost, I want to say 20 children from the Coatesville Area School District. This ain't just some normal voters registration. This is citywide, bridge to bridge. Ain't nobody playing with y'all. And if there's any pastors out there or somebody got organizations, you don't need permission to set out a table in front of your church or in the nearest corner near your church. And you just call us, let me know that you need some material, and we'll get you the material for voters application. We'll also give you information about the census, because we're going to be focused on that next Saturday as well. It's going to be a big day. We're going to be out there all day. Some people are going to have grills out there cooking hot dogs. Feel free to do that. Just don't set nothing on fire. We're looking forward to a great day of registration and fellowship. Whew, boy, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Yeah, now it's your turn. You're not going to get away from this unscathed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have a drum roll, comes the lady of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, look, I'm getting ready to introduce you to this young lady. She is the executive director of Bridge of Hope. Now, I did take off just a little bit because I want her to do all the talking, but I wanted to take their vision, national vision, and a little piece from their mission. And this is what it states. Bridge of Hope National Vision. Communities, this is what they want. This is their vision. Communities where no family is homeless. Now, y'all look around, and because probably people ain't saying a whole lot, but some of the people that you see right now, they're homeless. And they are bringing hope to the homeless. I like that. Then it says Bridge of Hope National Mission, to engage Christian faith communities in ending family homelessness through neighboring relationships that demonstrates Christ's love. Now, before I bring her on, I gotta look on here and see if anybody is on here so we can field questions if you have them. Usually, this takes me a second. Don't give up on me. It's gonna be just fine. Iris should be on here, but she playing. Oh, you know what? I tell you, it's always, if it ain't one thing, it's two things. Come on, find you can do it. Where they at? If they don't come aboard, though, we're going to just do what we do. But wait a minute. It should be right there. Anyway, Lisa, why don't you say a little something to all your viewers out there?
Well, thank you. First, I just want to say I'm honored and I'm grateful to be a guest on this show, and even more grateful to talk a little bit about the work that I'm privileged to do every day, even in the midst of a pandemic, especially in the midst of a pandemic. So I'm Lisa, and I started with Bridge of Hope Chester County right at the beginning of 2020. So I got a crash course, if you will, in what Bridge of Hope is. And then we had to completely change everything because we had a pandemic. So, but I am so excited to talk a little bit more about what we do at Bridge of Hope, how we work with the families, and how the role of the church is such a significant part in ending homelessness here in Chester County. So thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. You come highly regarded and everything. So I say, I have to find out who she is, where she is, and get her on it. Now, where are you originally from?
Yeah, so originally, my family is from Michigan, believe it or not. My dad was born and raised there, and my mom grew up very close by here in Berks County. And so my husband, which I'll talk a little bit more later, he grew up in North Carolina, but at different points, Pennsylvania became home to us, and this is where we met, and this is where we're now calling home.
So was there like a certain mission that drew you to Pennsylvania? Coincidence? What brought you here?
Yeah, so I mean, we would come out here to visit family and relatives every summer, and then I went to school, and at the end of my program, I had to complete an 8-month internship for my degree. Mm-hmm. And I knew that Michigan wasn't, Michigan will always be home. It will always be home. But I I knew that something else was out there for me. So I actually completed my internship here in Pennsylvania, and then just stayed. So I've been here since 2003. So it's a nice second home to have.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let me acknowledge some people that are viewing. Hey, David Phillips, we just talked about your wife with AP Crochet. Taylor Pulliam, she is on the scene. DJ Jones, man, it's me and you, homie. We're going to get together. Truly a blessing. DJ Jones was on Tuesday, right before you. Great brother and everything. Now, so when you finally got here, you was finished school and everything, and so you came here as a grown person. Okay, good, good, good. Now, do you have any children?
I do. We get to spend the day with a 4-year-old. His name is James. Yeah.
Oh,
So, listen, parents of small children staying at home during the pandemic, and especially here at the beginning of schools, I feel you. We make the best decisions we can on a daily basis.
sure, sure, sure. Yeah, because children don't come with a manual or nothing, do they?
I'm still looking for it. I'm still looking for it.
Now, what are you went to school, what did you go to school for? Because you had to go to college to do some of the stuff that you're doing, right?
I did, yeah. So I went to college, believe it or not, to study theater and psychology. So I studied both of those during college, and then life happens. I went back to graduate school, and I actually have a master's degree in counseling. So
Okay.
have served in a number of positions. Most recently, I was a part of a private practice. So I am pretty familiar with the counseling aspect, but I'm thankful that I've been able to use some of those skills in this current job here at Bridge of Hope.
And then if people act up while you're counseling, you revert back to your acting skills and say, yeah, I understand, yeah, like that, right? There you go. We're just playing, y'all. She's for real. So wait a minute. But it's funny how, no, before I even talk about how God can do something, let me ask you, what did you visualize yourself doing when you were in school?
I actually thought for a year I was living, as an actor, and I really thought that might be something I could do. But then, I listen. I'm just one of those people. I want to know where my paycheck comes from, and I want to kind of expect it, if you will. And so, I had to switch gears a little bit, but I knew it was always going to be something with working with other people or walking alongside them or helping them, and also probably selfishly learning some things along the way too.
Man, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. But isn't it funny how we make plans and the way we think we're going to start out? God has another plan. You be winding up all the way over there somewhere.
Indeed.
You be like, oh,
Yes.
here. But that's how he do what he do. Hey, Doris Spann, it is good to see you. Brother Tony Hill, I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I got Miss Lisa. I'll probably see your name wrong before it's over. Lisa Cameron, on here, executive director of Bridge of Hope. We're going to Bridge of Hope too, because we need hope. We need hope. Now let me see. Now, what are some of the things that you've done as far as you did before you came to Bridge of Hope?
Yeah, so it is always funny how you find yourself in certain situations. So I will tell you, I spent a lot of my life as an early therapist working with the young people, with the adolescent population. I really loved them. I think they liked me, but we got a lot of work done well together. And I'm telling you, this generation that's coming up, I'm just full of hope. I'm excited about how they're going to change the world. I've been thrilled to work with them. Again, like I said, I was in private practice for a year, and before moving to Chester County, I worked at our local YWCA in Lancaster. So YWCA Lancaster down there in Lancaster City, and working with people who had experienced trauma, and then also doing some work in the social justice area, programming there.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well,
Yeah.
you transition right into our area, man. That is beautiful. Now, come on. Tell me about the origin of the Bridge of Hope.
I sure will. Once again, it's one of those amazing stories where um, I think back in the late 80s, there were two women who were really impacted by a single mom who had children and she was facing homelessness. And these two women decided who better to help with someone in need than the church. So they kind of they had a meeting and they said, listen, we think that it's the church's responsibility to help someone in our community when they are in need. And so when they made that plea, if you will, there were about 10 people who stepped up and they said, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. And that formed the whole basis of Bridge of Hope, like over 30 years ago. It originated here in Chester and Lancaster counties. So 30 years ago. And now it's this national organization. It has like, I think 20 different Bridge of Hopes across the United States, with the involvement of the church as being a very significant and important piece in working with families in need in our communities.
Good stuff. Hey, good evening, Songbird. It is good to see you. I want to thank you for viewing and coming aboard. Now, wait a minute. I read somewhere on there, on your website, that approximately, I don't know, 30, 35, 37 people met in a basement in Coatesville. Is there any truth to that?
That's true. It's true. In fact, the Bridge of Hope, Chester County we used to have our offices right there on Olive Street in Coatesville
See,
for
now,
a number of years.
well, and now it's national.
It is. It's a national program. Isn't that
Oh,
something?
hey, my viewers, I don't know if y'all smell what I'm cooking, but I'm really excited because there comes a time, just every now and then, people say, well, can anything good come out of Coatesville? Well, look, boom, bala, bang. Created in a basement and is now nationwide. So therefore, that means no matter how insignificant or small or big your dreams may be, it can become something that's nationwide. Just got to get out and do it, man. That's a story right there. That's why I'm glad I
For
took
sure.
this thing. Because every now and then I need some inspiration. I go back to the tape. So y'all feel free to go back to the tape. Hey, DJ, thanks for sharing this. See, I'm telling you, I got some good brothers and sisters that view this, man, and this is a blessing. I'm not going to tell you about me because it's all about you. Now, I see on your website that your organization mentions neighbors quite often. What's the background of this thing that you're talking about as far as neighbors is concerned?
Yeah. So the way that Bridge of Hope works is it's like a three-way partnership. So first and foremost, of course, it's the family that's struggling, is either facing homelessness or is currently homeless. And then there's someone like me who works for Bridge of Hope, who is the best advocate that I can possibly be. And then there's the neighbors, and they are the volunteers from local churches throughout Chester County who answer the call to be a neighbor to somebody in need. And that's on a long-term basis. And basically what the neighbors do is they provide that intentional community of support around a family who is struggling, and they help them to meet their needs so that, at the end of 1 year or 2 years, oftentimes it's 2 years, a family is in a completely different place. They are enabled, empowered, and they're stable, and they're able to live life, without that network or that support, if you will. And that's what it's all about, is empowerment and stability for a family that maybe wasn't at one time. So that's the neighbors.
So how do you connect the two, the family with the neighbor?
Mm-hmm. So ironically, when I was hired in January, we kind of were rebuilding this program here in Chester County. And so, I was told to, reach out to other organizations to see if we can find families. The sad part is that I didn't have to do that because families are struggling here in Chester County, and they would just call. They would make cold calls, and I would have these amazing and yet heartbreaking stories of how families were struggling right here in my community in Chester County. And so right now, I will actually say that there's a waiting list. I have probably 10 to 12 families who have just reached out, who are waiting for me to get back with them. So here's where a little bit of the struggle is, if you will, which is finding churches who want to answer that call, who want to be that community of support for a family for the long term, for the long haul, if you will. And so that's a lot of what my job is right now, which is making phone calls to churches, setting up meetings to talk a little bit more about Bridge of Hope, and in some ways, kind of convincing the church to be involved in this kind of like hands-on way, especially in the midst of a pandemic. A lot of people say, wait, we have to be safe and we have to maintain distance. And we have a lot of creative ways to do that. And at the end of the day, families now more than ever are struggling here in Chester County.
There's something that you said there. Now, does your organization provide any resources, or you're just a convener and you just put the two together and you say good luck, or how does that work?
Right. We do, one of the main resources that we provide, especially for a family facing homelessness, is we provide rental assistance. So we help people find stable housing and we provide that rental assistance. It's not for 1 or 2 years by any means, but oftentimes a family might need some financial assistance with a security deposit, and maybe first month's rent. And so we help to create a bit of a budget, if you will, especially in the first 6 months or so. But we're the primary financial supporters of this family. The other resources that we provide are in the form of like a case manager, which is what I do when working with families. So we identify goals that families, want to achieve. A lot of times we are working with single parents and they have some educational goals and dreams that they want to reach. And we help them do that because we know that oftentimes when you have a different kind of educational experience, that can help you to financially provide better or more, for your family. And so we are very supportive of that. Sometimes people need some budgeting help. Sometimes they want to talk about their children and how to just be better, show up better, for our kids. And so we do those things too. But I would say the primary resource is that financial piece, especially as a family is kind of getting back on their feet. We feel like that's a direct kind of, tangible way to help families that are struggling.
Cool beans. Let's acknowledge a few of our viewers that chipped in. Danielle Zorita. It's always good to see you. I like seeing Zorita, like I can speak some kind of foreign language, which I can't. Iris Home has checked in, and Iris said, "Thank you, Bridge of Hope, for all you do." I think she had an experience with y'all a while ago. Tina Madsen, as always, it's good to see you, Tina. I think I reached out to you, Tina. You never got back with me. I reached out to Bill. Okay, Nelson Ojeda said, yes, hello, God bless. Let's get the churches involved. Awesome blessing. Nelson Ojeda is a minister. And Nelson, now that he's on, do you deal with Latino families? Do you have somebody that's bilingual that can talk and all that kind of stuff? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think that would be the goal, is to have people who speak more than just the first language of English. So right now we don't have anyone on our staff, but I would hope that would be an obstacle that we could easily overcome for sure.
Okay. How big is your staff?
In Chester County, my office is in with the Bridge of Hope national staff that's up kind of in the Malvern area. So I feel like we're a small but mighty group. I think there's like eight or nine of us here.
All right, all right. I'm just going over my checklist and everything. I mean, we're saying such good stuff. Yeah.
For sure.
Now, do you guys y'all don't have any temporary housing, or do you supply that like on an emergency basis? Like if somebody come knock on your door with 4 kids, nose running, and a shopping cart with clothes in it, what could you do for them?
Yeah, that is that's a great question. It is. And I wish I had the answer for that. Um, the One of the things that I wish we would be able to provide is that we would have churches kind of waiting for us to match them with families, so that if there was a family that came knocking on the doors at Bridge of Hope, that we would say, you know what, we're going to transport you right here to this church. They are ready for you. They are ready to welcome you. And then we would all work to help the family meet the housing issues, and the financial goals as well. I wish that is what would happen. But I think probably what we would do is we would go back and look at some other resources,
Mhm.
within Chester County that might be able to serve them.
Cool beans, cool beans. It almost kind of reminds me. Uh, I've been a foster parent since I've been in Coatesville, and it would seem like I was always an emergency stop when something happens to a child in the middle of the night. Maybe the parents act crazy, whatever, and they put in temporary placement. They'd always come to my house with a bag and this and that, and prayerfully, there when a family is homeless, there is an outlet for them, be it temporarily, to where they can be helped. That'd be a
Yeah.
good goal. That'd be a good goal.
Yeah.
Okay, now the service you said you help provide is kind of like financial. Because I'm writing this stuff down because I'm going.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Before I go any further, if I tell my viewers that y'all do this, y'all gonna need to hire like 100 people because everybody gonna be calling you on the phone. So now, you tell me what you want me to do. You want me to
I
tell people
know.
that you exist?
Yes. Yes, I do. There are, with a lot of other programs, there are some criteria. Ours are few, but there are criteria. Can I share those?
Please, because that's one of my questions. Give
Sure.
it to me.
So the first criteria is a family has to either be facing homelessness or is currently homeless. And so Bridge of Hope defines facing homelessness like if you are living with a relative, we would say that you're facing homelessness because you don't have your own stable home, that you are in charge of. So that's the first criteria: facing homelessness or currently homeless. The second criteria is that the family has to have a child or children under the age of 18.
Mhm.
Family. And then the third criteria is while we are not concerned about things that happened in the past, a family cannot be currently using any kind of illegal substances.
Okay.
So if you're clean and sober, fantastic. If you have a history, we don't care, just as long as it's not, you're not currently using. Mhm.
Good, good, good. So don't come to her all weeded up and all that stuff talking about you want some help. You might have to go through the program first, get some help there, and then come see you, right? I know you don't want
Yes.
trouble. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so that
Yes.
covers the rules and regulations. And then see what do I have now? What professional and social services do you have on the premises, or do you have any?
No, we don't.
Okay.
No, it's just a standalone building. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Mm-mm.
But you will be able to refer them to professional services if you deem that's what's necessary. Am I correct?
Absolutely. So, oftentimes the families that we serve, a single parent, like I said, and more than one child, that's our typical family. And so we help with childcare subsidies. Often that is something that will prevent a parent from being able to find work is because they don't have anyone to help,
Mm.
take care of their children. So we work with that. But then that's also one of those really amazing tangible things that the volunteers or the neighbors from a church can do as well.
Mhm.
And again, all of this is temporary. And if you go back and you think about the people in your neighborhood and how they have helped you, from time to time,
Sure.
this is what Bridge of Hope wants to do. We want to create that neighborhood where a family can say, hey, can you pick my kid up today after school, on the at the bus stop, or hey, are you able to take me to a job interview? I just did that for a mom in Westchester. These are the things that we would do, for each other in our neighborhood. We're just kind of creating that, for people.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Man, we're rolling right along. How we doing? You okay over there?
Yes.
Ain't this nice though?
It is. It's
all
lovely.
Stupid. Yeah, this is all stupid and everything. I love it.
It's
Now,
lovely.
look, my next question is this. Now, I'm bringing out a handkerchief, right? I'm gonna tell you why I'm bringing out a handkerchief, because I want you to share a story of your experience of something or a family or something or experience that stood out with you. Now, I'm ready to cry, so if it's gonna be one of my heartbreaking jaunts, I'm ready. Come on, share something with your viewers.
Yeah, well, I will say we're serving, we serve families all over, Chester County. But I will tell you that when I first started, it was one of the first phone calls I had. He's actually a landlord there in Coatesville, and he called and he said, "Listen, I have a family that is months behind on their rent, and I cannot. They have two small children, and he said I can't have them living out of their car. I cannot make them homeless. Can you please, is there something that you can do?" And so both parents, it's a two-parent home. And at the time, neither of them were working. They had lost their jobs. And little did we know that, 30 days later, we were going to have a national pandemic that would just, kind of change things forever, as we knew that. And I will just say that I had like an emotional reaction to this man's plea, for help, because he said, like, I don't want to be the cause of them becoming homeless, but something has to happen. And so, yeah, Bridge of Hope, we came in. We certainly did not, we're not saving days, or creating miracles. But I will tell you, we follow the family, and this family really did want to make some lasting changes. They wanted to change the experiences that their small kids, were having. And I'm happy to say that here in September, they are in a completely different situation than they were back in January. And that's the best part of my job. The best part of my job is seeing that.
That's good, man. Because like all we ever want, man, sometimes is just some hope. Hope for the hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. I'm not gonna cry and I ain't gonna make light of it because I'm a comedian sometimes. But I'll tell you, I'm gonna have to joke up there for a minute. I hope she hurry up and come to the end of this story. All right. But look, Iris Holmes checked in, and Iris says, I have made several donations of toiletries when Bridge was on our street. See, Iris knows. I've only been here 30 years, so but she knows. And here, ladies and gentlemen, watching is Tam Williams. Tam, how are you this evening? We have lovely Miss Cameron on here talking about Bridge of Hope. I just love when people just bring hope to other people. You know what I mean? I like that. That just turned me on. I'll be like, what? And it's a beautiful thing. And that's why I like Coatesville, because we got a bunch of people that try to impact other people. I mean, I like people that's all about themselves, for a little bit, but people that's trying to help other people, I'm down with that. Casey Lounge, top of the evening to you. Now, let me see if I got any more questions, because I want to keep her around for a while. Good. Let me go to page number 2. Oh, boy. She is live. But this is City Town Talk, ladies and gentlemen. In case you just stumbled by my page and wondering what's going on, it is Brother Fonz coming to you live from City Town Talk. The 3 pillars of this of my program, Lisa, is information, education, and inspiration. You done hit a couple of them bad boys too. Now, what's some of the biggest challenges you got at the Bridge of Hope?
So I'm sad to say this. I'm sad to say it, but I have to be honest, and I got to keep it real. So here's the thing. I think I mentioned before, I have all of these families who are kind of on a waiting list, and I've shared about how we can't do our work without the involvement or that third piece, which is from the church. And I'm so sad to say that one of the hardest parts of my job is connecting with churches who will say yes. And while I understand that the yes is filled with a whole bunch of unknowns, if you will, because nobody will know how a family will react. No one will know, what the personalities are. So I can understand the hesitancy in saying yes. And my husband is a deacon in the United Methodist Church. So I just want to say that even though the church may say, what can we do? How can we help our community? There's still like a hesitancy, if you will, to jump into some mess because it's mess. Yeah. It's messy, when a family is facing homelessness. It's messy when a family is not, and so there is a reluctance sometimes, and I'm sad to say that, of the church saying, yeah, we want to jump in. So I would say my challenge right now is finding churches who will say,
yes,
tell me more, tell us more, tell us how we can impact our community in a different way.
So, Lisa, so why don't you, I don't know how you advertise it. I don't know how you put the bag on. I don't know if you do it via phone call or whatever, try to shame people. I have no idea. But why don't you keep me informed of what you're doing? And the same way I'm doing this, because some people like in churches be like, well, what can we do? I'm gonna show you what you can do, so you can you really want to do it, or you just play in church, or you just playing. You know what I mean? And I kind of like have that kind of personality. Sometimes that'll do that. I don't mean to, but they be like, man, Fonz, he ain't even right. Anyway, here's Tam. I like saying her name. Tam, I like saying all four of these names and initials. Tam Williams states, hey, Fonz, great program. She used to work for BOH when Francesca Crane was the director, have helped many young women in the community. Is there still Girls of Hope? Do you still have Girls of Hope?
You know what? I feel like I'm still one of the newer employees at Bridge of Hope. So I might have to go back and talk to some people who have a couple more years there. That does not sound familiar to me, but I am really intrigued and excited about it. So I want to hear a little bit more about that.
Hey, Tam, I think that's what you should do. I think you should reach out to Lisa and give her the history. I don't know if that's iGirls or just Girls of Hope, but that would be a great help to her. So she would know. What do you think? And she also wants to know, do they still go out to speak to churches to recruit mentoring groups? Are you doing that?
Yes, I will go wherever wherever a church, when they want me to come to give a presentation, absolutely. And Tamara, she used that term mentoring. We used to call the volunteers from the churches mentors. Now we've rightly so, I think, changed the wording to neighbors, because mentoring gives this idea that volunteers like know something, maybe that families don't. And so it's the exact opposite, which is the neighbors are kind of following the lead of the families, if you will. So I'm glad that she mentioned that term mentoring. And I'm also thankful that we changed it to neighbors, because it makes more sense, that kind of relationship that we want to build.
Well, wait a minute. You and Tamara Williams, y'all got a relationship going right now, because she's giving me all kinds of stuff. Wait a minute, she said it's a program for the daughters of the mothers in the program. She used to coordinate the program. Well, Tam, what are you doing? She used to coordinate the program. Tam, come on, seriously. I know you're busy, but you need to add some input information if you can't even give time. She said it's Girls of Hope. Oh man, I like the name of that. I just like the name. Hey Tam, you gotta stop playing. I want you to reach out to Lisa and y'all just talk. Just talk.
I would love that. I would love that.
Now, Have you been in Coatesville? Man, the pandemic's got everything messed up. Because now you've been reaching out to churches in Coatesville, you say?
Yes. So here's what I do. Whenever we get some kind of a call, if somebody says, "Oh, you should reach out to this church because I think, they really want to help communities, in this way," then I always phone a phone call, an email. Here's the thing. Someone at Bridge of Hope told me that it will take 7 times of me making a phone call or sending an email to a church before they say, "Yes, come in, come speak to us." And I happen to think that might be 6 times too many.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do.
You do. You're right. And yes, and I completely understand, especially now in such uncertain times. The church really, just like with lots of other organizations, we're still trying to figure it out. And I get that. I would love though to have a phone call or maybe even come in and sit 6 feet away and talk a little bit more about the Bridge of Hope program, especially in Coatesville with churches.
Okay, so everybody wants to know what, Fonz, or what's your next mission? Or Movement Community Development Corporation, what's your next mission? Because I'm the president of that nonprofit. Let's see if we can't figure out how to do that. Let's just figure it out. I'm writing notes.
Please
I'm a rabble rouser. There's no doubt about it.
I love that.
Figure out
trouble.
How to connect.
Get into good trouble.
Miss Minnie McNeil just said that because she's beautiful. She's gonna be on my show next week. I believe she was married to a doctor named Atkinson. I don't have her total story, but she is an iconic figure of Coatesville. I'm gonna have her on next week. I am so doggone excited. All right, figure out how to connect because it's time to stop playing. That's my favorite terminology in Coatesville too, the word "stop playing." Okay, now let's see where we at. There also was an alumni program. Are they still on Olive Street? Okay, Tam, you got so many questions. You're gonna have to ask. You're gonna have to ask her personally because I don't even want to. That way you'll call her. Plus, you know some churches and stuff too. Sundifu Dorley has just checked in. Sundifu, or however you say your name, is good to see you this evening. Now let me see, where else am I at? Do I have more questions? How am I doing on time? 8:42. Time's flying when we're having fun. All right. Where or what would you like to see in your organization in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, well, I would actually like to be put out of a job in 5 years. I would love that. I would love for homelessness to not be so prevalent, so that Bridge of Hope wouldn't be needed. However, I think we're probably going to have to make some more change with that. So I would say in the next 5 years, I would love to have. I would like to grow our program. I'd like for there to be more of me at Bridge of Hope in Chester County, because if we grow the program, then that means that we will be able to help and serve more families in Chester County. So I would love to be able to add 3 or 4, more staff members so that we're really able to meet the needs of our community.
Good stuff. Iris Holmes, thank you for checking in. Yes, you said Mrs. Minnie McNeil was a nurse at Atkinson. Well, Iris, we will have Miss Minnie McNeil on next week, time permitting. Now, what else? We're almost at the end of our road, but actually, this is just the beginning. Now, how does a person get to see you? Do they call you? Can they walk in off the street and get waited on? What all they got to do? And where are you located at?
Yeah, so before March, they could have just walked in to the office, sure. But now they can make a phone call. They can also go on our website and fill out an inquiry form. That's how I know that somebody will need some attention. And so I can do all of that from my home. However, our building is located up in Malvern. believe it or not, right off of Sweetsford Road. So that's where our office is now.
No, but seriously, all right, like Lisa, just me and you talking, right? Ain't no homeless people up in Malvern. Why don't you come on down and get close to coach? We don't stop playing.
Fonz,
Huh?
let me tell you.
Oh.
Let me tell you.
All right.
I really do think we should have some kind of space back in Coatesville. Now that's just between you and me and your
the
viewers.
I got you.
But absolutely, yes, I hear you. I hear you on that.
Yeah. Come on. Yep. All right, leave that alone. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you say your organization, do y'all accept volunteers where you're at, or how does that work? And what does what do you have to do or go through?
Yeah, so we actually view the neighbors, who step up from the churches as our volunteers. Mm-hmm. So there is a training, that does have to happen. I think a lot of people who have big hearts, but they can also do some big damage too. When it comes to working with people, that they may think needs this or that. So we do go through a training. It's pretty extensive. We have some background checks. We have to make sure that people are safe, and they're keeping themselves healthy. Before the pandemic, we did have some people come into the office, and they were they helped us with with some office work. But I am much more interested in having bodies on the ground, if you will, and in the community, for sure.
There's usually two questions I always ask at the end. Mm-hmm. One's a question and one's a statement that I require. Can you share what part has faith played in what it is that you do? See, I didn't put that on the paper where you could read it in advance.
You didn't. I think here's the thing. I have to believe at the end of the day that people are good, and that they will share what they have to people who don't have it. That's what my faith calls me to do. When we have abundance, we are called to share that. And if somebody knows more about Jesus or God through those interactions, then that's great. But I do think that my faith calls me to work with people who need help.
Good stuff. Would you like to have any parting comments, insights, anything on your mind that you would like to share right before, because this will be our last question. So if there's anything you'd like to share, take your time and share with the viewers right now.
I think I would say there will always be someone who needs help, always. And if we don't know who they are right now, then we probably aren't looking hard enough, because we're there. And I put myself in that category too. There have been so many times in my life that I have needed help and have had to rely on somebody else, to help me in my journey. And so I think I would just encourage people to see how they can give back, or to see how they can help, because it's probably going to be easier than what you think to do that.
Lisa, I want to thank you. And your name still is Lisa, right?
It is. Yep.
But how about you know why it almost had me messed up? Because when you said Lisa Mars, I'm like, so now is her name Laura? Or are they the same L's or whatever?
All Lisas.
That's cool. Lisa, I want to thank you for allowing me to spend a little time with you, to get to know you and get to know your program. And I know my viewers are happy. I'm going to share this with all of them, all up and down the social media stream, because I believe what you share today will help somebody.
I appreciate
help somebody to give, or help somebody who needs and have no idea where to go.
Mhm.
And
Thank you for having me.
yeah,
I
this is what
appreciate
God
it.
do. See, I told you this was no real big deal, just hanging out with me. But God has blessed us. He has really blessed us. And all my viewers out there, I want to thank y'all for tuning in because without y'all, there would be no reason for me to be here. So I really appreciate y'all. Prayerfully, excuse me, prayerfully, you will share what you see here and you hear here with those who might can use her services and the services of anybody that I put on this talk show, because it's all about y'all. That's why this show is in existence, to help those that surround us. So, but without that, I'm going to say one more time right before I go, before we all start crying and boo-hooing, talking about Fonz, shut up, you talk too much. I'm going to say thank you. God bless y'all. Remember, Coatesville's rising, and y'all know the rest. Black Lives Matter. Peace out.
For sure.
Lisa, put your phone number in the comment section so people can find out your phone number and stuff like that. Okay.
Sure.
Or oh yeah. Do I have your number?
Yeah.
I do. Okay. All right. We'll talk soon. All right.
Yes.
Bye now.